So it looks like The Nun Part 2 is the number one movie in America this week. And it looks like number one in the world. I went to go see it on Friday, and I couldn't believe what I was seeing. It was so good. Really enjoyed it. It's that entertaining kind of horror. It's not, cinema or anything like that. But it's just, it reminded me a great deal of Underworld Evolution, the second movie in the Underworld saga. If you like that movie, which just combined action and scares and was just balls to the wall from the start to the end, then this is a movie for you. Fantastic, very dark, moody. Michael Chavez, again, coming through with the direction. Dark, just dark, dark, dark. I loved it. But what I love even more is seeing it succeed at the box office. And that's what we've got right here. Let's take a look at the numbers. Domestic box office here, it looks like 32,600,000 domestic for the weekend. I don't think that's counting today. So tomorrow we'll look again and probably have some more money. But internationally, looking at 52 million, almost $53 million for a grand total of 85.3. I believe the budget was somewhere between 40 and 45 for this before marketing, which wasn't massive. It hasn't been massive because of the strikes. So it looks like it's going to make a profit. I'm very happy about that. And I hope it continues to do well into next week. It dethroned The Equalizer 2 that I saw last week and did a short video on about how Antoine Fuqua and Denzel Washington were succeeding with their action franchise, where Liam Neeson and the Taken franchise and the sort of replica movies he's been making have not. But I want to also get into some of the other details about the movie, and I hope that you'll go see it. It deserves to be seen on the screen for the darkness, for the mood, for the big sounds. I just thought it was great, and I'd be tempted to see it again, and I'm definitely going to buy it on physical media when it drops. However, I was taking a look at some of the reviews online today, and this is from USA Today. The Nun 2 with spoilers. So if you're averse to spoilers, tune out right now. Just do me a favor, like this video, leave a comment if you're planning to see it, if you're not planning to see it, so on and so forth. Subscribe to the channel. I'd be also grateful. So let's take a look at this article. This is from yesterday, about 12 o'clock in the afternoon. The Nun 2 spoilers, what that post-credit scene teases for The Conjuring future. Yes, there was a great post-credit scene in there that I enjoyed very much. So spoiler alert, the following post discusses important plot points in the ending of The Nun 2, so beware if you haven't seen it yet. So, maybe you want to go check out and come back after you've seen it. But hit that like button just the same, and the subscribe button. Tassa Farmiga's sister Irene, and I like that Tassa Farmiga, Vera Farmiga's sister, is in this now, and I can see where this is going to overlap. I really like this. Survived another harrowing encounter with the most unholy lady in The Nun 2, though a close friend apparently hasn't purged the powerful evil inside him. The latest installment of the Conjuring horror franchise continues a plot point from 2018's first Nun. In that original 1950s set movie, Irene was saved by helpful handyman Maurice. But in the then that's by Jonas Bloquet. But in the aftermath, he was possessed by the demonic nun Valak. Excuse me, I can't read today. By Bonnie Aarons. And Bonnie Aarons, since my favorite movie of the whole Conjuring universe is The Conjuring Part 2, Bonnie Aarons playing Valak is just great. Her physical actions, her physical horror is just, it's great stuff. I love anything having to do with the Nun because of her specific performances. Nun 2 picks up 4 years later with Irene back in the habit of investigating sinister weirdness and traveling to a French boarding school where she once again encounters Maurice and that devilish woman of the cloth. There is a happy ending, happy-ish ending, but it is a Conjuring movie after all. Let's break down that finale and what the mid-credits scene with a couple of noteworthy cameos could mean for the future of this terrifying connected world. What happens at the end of The Nun 2? Irene and fellow sister Deborah Storm Reed, who is actually really good in this too. I didn't like the fact that they had a tag along at first, but she was really, really good. And yeah, I had no complaints with her. I was wrong in the beginning, and I was glad to be wrong. Come to France to figure out what's happening with a string of bloody church murders through Europe and discover that Valak, a fallen angel rejected by God, who's now inhabiting Maurice's body, is seeking the eyes of St. Lucy. And you forget how faith-based and Catholic the Conjuring universe is because of the Warrens and their devout faith in God. I remember specifically when The Conjuring 2 came out, there's a scene where Ed Warren, played by Patrick Wilson, plays an Elvis Presley cover to sort of lighten the mood for the young girls that are being victimized by Valak. And he does this Can't Help Falling in Love. And I know a lot of friends of mine said that really just, they loved the movie up until that part and then they hated it. And I didn't get it at first either, but now looking back on it and every Conjuring movie, at least with the Warrens in it and now with the Nun, we can see that faith and God, is the yin-yang here. So I understand it now, and now actually The Conjuring 2 is my favorite of the Conjuring movies, and maybe my favorite of all of them, including The Curse of La Llorona, and I'm going to catch up a little bit with the Annabelle. So I've been sort of holding back on watching those, but maybe I'll get to one of those tonight if I don't watch Aquaman, another James Wan movie. Is Seeking the Eyes of St. Lucy a powerful holy relic passed down through the lineage of the patron saint of the blind? Along the way, Irene discovers that she is a descendant of St. Lucy. When Valak uses the eyes on Irene, the demon sets her aflame, but the fire miraculously goes out. Irene and Deborah pray over a pool of wine, since the school was once a winery, and the red stuff gets spilled during the religious melee, essentially turning it into the blood of Christ. The nuns use it to banish Valak back to hell, thereby freeing Maurice from her clutches and saving the day. Maybe not for long, though. Okay? Is there a post-credit scene in the Nun sequel? Yes, there is. Heck yeah. A woman's voice is heard answering the phone, and the scene opens to the home of Ed, Patrick Wilson, and Lorraine Warren, Vera Farmiga, the paranormal investigators at the center of the main Conjuring movies. Ed is told it's Father Gordon, Steve Coulter, the priest who frequently works with the Warrens on their cases, and answers the phone. Yes, Father, how can we help? The brief sequence seems to be pointing to the next film featuring the Warrens, The Conjuring: Last Rites. I love Ed and Lorraine Warren. I love Vera Farmiga and Patrick Wilson in these roles. They almost are like a married couple when I see them, especially when I saw the third one. I really like the fact that Ed, and they're starting to play it a little older. Ed suffers a heart attack in the very beginning of the third one. He's not as physically capable as he once was. Lorraine is dressing a bit like an older woman, looking a little dowdy, as opposed to the first one, which is 8 years ago or so. She's very young, so on and so forth. I like that they're documenting that progression visually. So when I saw them, and you got Tessa Farmiga over here, Vera Farmiga over here, I just thought this was great. And yeah, I hope that they do overlap and that the characters meet. The title was announced in April at CinemaCon, but fans will have to wait a while to see it. Wilson told USA Today in June that he hadn't seen anything yet script-wise for the fourth Conjuring, and that while it had been in the process of being written, we just need to wait until the Hollywood strike ends. Okay, will Sister Irene or Demonic Valak be back for The Nun 3? I don't see how she won't be. Although at the end of the second movie, she's cast back into hell, but she keeps coming back. Or, well, she hasn't come back chronologically since the end of the second movie. So we'll see where we're at. There's no threequel in place, although Last Rites might be the film that connects the story threads sprinkled throughout the Conjuring and Nun films. For example, in a scene from 2013's original Conjuring, the Warrens are giving a college lecture in the early 70s and showing a home movie of a possessed older Maurice with blood coming out of his eyes and an upside-down cross appearing on his torso from within his body, like the one in Nun 2 on Maurice's neck, symbolizing the presence of the evil Valak. And that was great to see, because when we got to the end of the Nun, I hadn't made the connection that this was the Maurice from the first movie. 5 years go by, you're not going to remember the minor character that's been in there for, 45 seconds. Maurice had a very troubled life and little to live for, and not even an exorcist could bring him back, it says to the class. Last Rites could be the movie that shows the details of what happened when the Warrens tried to help Maurice, since we know Valak's not done with him yet. And with Lorraine, having also encountered her in 2016's The Conjuring, the next movie could tie together Irene and Lorraine. The Nun 2 hints that the two women who look similar and also have supernatural skills are connected. Yeah, I'm wondering if they're going to find out that they're somehow related. Perhaps Lorraine's also a descendant of St. Lucy, and she and Irene are like the real-life Formiga siblings, sisters, or even cousins, or maybe they're the same person, which is not out of the realm of possibility. Yeah, given the timeline, I hadn't thought about that. Wow, yeah, that Irene, she might, quit the nunnery, quit the convent, give up her vows and, choose a different life as a civilian. I hadn't considered that. Wow, that would be awesome. All right, so I guess that's it. I think that The Nun 2 is fantastic. I think you should definitely go see it. But I mean, I love that there's a plan going on here, that it doesn't seem like they're just kind of, throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks. I like that these things are overlapping in a coherent way. So, I can't wait for the next one. I love the Conjuring universe. It's been 10 years since the original Conjuring, and I hope that it goes on for a while. Okay, that's my video. Let me know what you think. Did you see the movie? If you did, what did you think? Are you looking forward to more? Did you not like it? Did it not do something for you? Leave a comment. One-word comment is fine. It helps to drive some traffic. Subscribe to the channel. I appreciate it very much. And I will see you in the next video. I'll be making some more tomorrow. And we've got a live stream coming up on Wednesday when we're going to cover the old 70s exploitation film, blaxploitation, Blackula. So we'll see you all later in the week. All right, have a good one.